A week after Donald Trump calls Vladimir Zelensky a dictator, everybody goes crazy. Now Zelensky's on his way to Washington. Are we to say that just because Trump sets the goalposts way ahead or way out there and gets 75% of what he wants, that that's not still a win?
That would be a win, but it might also be a win, Leland, for Zelensky in Ukraine, in the sense that once the United States commits itself to receive hundreds of billions of dollars worth of minerals and other rare earth metals and the rest from Ukraine, suddenly the United States has a stake in Ukraine surviving as a nation. And given that the war aim, repeatedly announced by Putin, is the extinguishment of the state of Ukraine, this might also be a win for Ukraine.
Yeah. Also, the fact that Donald Trump pushed Zelensky probably gives Zelensky a little bit of cover domestically. In this larger sense, though, conventional wisdom as a president says you only do things that you can win fully, you can win easily. That's not Donald Trump's way, right? There's sort of this chaos, I wouldn't even say theory, but strategy, where you put the end zones way out there, say, promise the moon or promise Mars, and then get to the moon and say, we've arrived. Is that working for Donald Trump?
It's too soon to say, Leland, because the old Shakespeare phrase, sound and fury signify nothing. The question is, when the dust settles, and it will settle, and the courts have had their say, and they will have their say, and when Congress has intervened on, say, the USAID or the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and other things, when the courts and public opinion has had its say, what will have changed? Now, Mr. Musk is sending around to all these agencies very young, look like sort of Musk groupies, who are fascinated by the billionaire and who go into these agencies and start interrogating them, asking them not only what they do, but the courts will be very interested in this fact if true. Allegedly, they're asking these people who are about to be fired or not fired, depending on someone's discretion, whether or not their politics are acceptable. Are they Republicans? Are they Democrats? Have they supported the wrong candidates in the past? If that is true, if these young Musk groupies have been crossing that line, courts will be very interested indeed and can throw a lot of sand in the Musk machine.
You've been very skeptical of Elon Musk since sort of the whole idea of him becoming part of the administration, the presidency, whatever you want to call it, began. I've never heard Donald Trump really stand up for someone in the way he did with Elon Musk today in the Oval Office. Take a listen.
Is he speaking for you when he says you'll be terminated?
Yeah, everybody speaks for me. I'm the one, I'll take responsibility. You know the old statement, the buck stops here, right? Famous statement. Well, I can say the same thing, the buck stops here.
And Elon Musk will be in the cabinet meeting tomorrow. It doesn't seem as though this predicted falling out of Musk and Trump is happening.
Just wait, Leland. It's very early in this game. We're now in, what, the 5th week of Trump 2.0? There's not just the danger, and I think it's a real one, that Mr. Trump will weary of the suggestions that he is somehow a co-president with Mr. Musk. There's also the question of whether Mr. Musk is going to get tired, weary, bored, something, frustrated with this assignment he's been given. He has no formal power. He's the chairman of an advisory commission giving advice. Well, good Lord, we can all give advice. Leland, you and I can give advice. Nothing much will happen. The question is, will something happen because of Elon Musk's advice? I still have a hunch that come late summer, say August, Mr. Musk will be back to trying to colonize the moon.
Yeah, colonize the moon and then occupy Mars. Your advice goes a lot farther than my advice goes. I just want to be on record with that. Donald Trump today floated this new idea of how to do some immigration, effectively offering a way for very wealthy foreigners to buy U.S. citizenship. Take a listen.
This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship.
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people.
Very nice people. Lots of very nice people. I know everyone's going to melt down about this. I have a slightly different theory on it, okay? Which is, people can come here and become citizens because they marry the right person. What's wrong with saying, hey, if people are very wealthy, and obviously they can be screened in one way or the other, sure, $5 million, come to America, bring your businesses. I don't get the outrage.
Well, let me share you, if not outrage, some questions here. Emma Lazarus's famous poem that adorns the Statue of Liberty talks about send us the wretched refuse of your teeming shores. Send us the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Send us the tempest tossed. It does not say, really, first and foremost, send us the rich. And I think there is something troubling, Leland, about putting a price on American citizenship.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.